Welcome back to our special episode of Holy Land Uncovered on location in Georgia. We are now at elevation in front of the Jvari Monastery, and our wonderful Katie is here to explain what Jvari means.
Jvari Emily means the cross into Georgian language, and the monastery has the name of the cross, the Jvari. So it's happened because in 4th century, the very first cross as the symbol of the Christian religion on this land was erected exactly over there.
Wow, so how did they make this all happen?
Actually, the Georgians already knew about the Christian religion and, let's say, the philosophy, the Christian philosophy from the 1st century, but because the pagan religion was here very strong, only for next 300 years, it was always like, you know, the fighting in between the Christian religion to be spread here and the local pagan religion. And only it happened in 4th century, exactly to be told 330s.
And it happened because of a woman.
It happened because of the woman, because the Saint Nino is the lady, the young lady who came from Cappadocia with a beautiful story behind her, how brave she was, how self-determined she was, how strong actually she was in her goals and the plans to come and preach the Christian religion over here. And because of her initiation, the first cross was erected over here on the place where before the pagan monument was constructed there.
So we see that inside of the monastery. You see like a slab. Is that where the pagans god, they used to put their figurines?
Exactly. So that's the pedestal. And on the pedestal there was the monument of the god, the pagan god. They destroyed it, and on the same pedestal they put the cross. And only 200 years later they built the monastery around this pedestal.
Tell us a bit about the symbol of the cross here in Georgia that's very unique and different than other crosses that we see.
Yes, this is actually recognized as the Saint Nino's cross. When she arrived in the territory of Georgia, she made a cross to show everybody that she was the Christian. And it's something very interesting story. She made a cross out of the vine, the grape, 2 grape branches. And she tied the cross with her hair. And she held the cross and she entered in it in Georgia with this symbol. And this type of the cross is the symbol of the Georgian church also.
We are now in Mtskheta in front of a very famous cathedral. Katie, please tell us the name of it, because I could try 10 times and it's still very difficult.
Yes, of course I can help you. The name is Svetitskhoveli. That means the living pillar, the translation in English.
So what does the living pillar, why is it called the living pillar, and what's the story behind it?
That's the story behind is that this actually is the area, the cathedral, where the sister Sidonia, the Jew woman with a piece of shroud of Jesus, is buried. And it's believed that on her grave the majestic tree was grown, which was just illuminated all the areas here around. So it's also believed that the part of this tree was taken by the angel up in heaven, which became the alive pillar, the part of the tree. This is why the name of the cathedral is the Living Pillar Cathedral.
So explain the backstory, because she was believed to be a Georgian Jew, which we know lived here for many, many centuries. So how did this whole situation come about?
Yeah, actually we are the area where also close by there was the Jewish district nearby. That's the center of the town, but here nearby was the Jewish district for many centuries. So the story tells us that in 1st century, when Jesus was going to be crucified, we know that the information to the nearby countries, to the Jews, were sent to attend the process of how he would be crucified. So it means that the Georgian Jews, the group of the men, left Mtskheta for Jerusalem to attend this, you know, the process. And there was the lady Sidonia, Sister Sidonia, who was the sister of the leader of the Georgian Jewish men, and she asked, can you bring something from Jesus, like a real materialistic something, because I already believe in the ideas what he is preaching. So the brother made it possible to get the piece of shroud of Jesus from the Jerusalem after this the process, and when he brought it to the sister, we know that the sister was so emotional to have something from Jesus that she started crying. She hugged actually the shroud over her heart, and it also tells a story that her heart could not resist the emotions and she passed away. When the people wanted to take away the shroud from her hand, they could not. So they decided to bury her with a shroud, and her burial place, where she is buried inside this cathedral. And because she's buried there, later Georgians built the small church in the 5th century as a stone one, and 11th century this big cathedral.